tonight, yeah, I'm going to be focusing on brush stamps. So there's 2 stamp pads that are in the brush collection. This one that I'm showing here is the Budding Friendship, and it says it right here in the nice lettering, but I'm going to be using this flower here, this petal, and the insert for the inside of the flower. So those 3 I'm going to be using. The other one I'm going to be using is from the other stamp pad and brushed, which is Always Be Your Own Kind of Wonderful, which is highlighted in this stamp here. But I'm going to be using this little butterfly down here. Okay. So that's what we will be showing. So this is what the card looks like, or a card that I made will look like. It won't be duplicated completely because I'm not that talented.
Oh, sure you are.
So some of the colors that I'm going to be using, just so that I can highlight them now. The yellow is Lemonade. The middle is Gold Rush. This one is Evergreen. And this one down here is New England Ivy, but I think I'm going to replace that with Julep tonight. And then this is Lagoon. Okay. So I want to show Julep versus the New England Ivy. The New England Ivy is nice, but I think the Julep will give it a little bit more color. So we're going to try it and see what happens. So I have my Versamat. If I didn't have my Versamat, I'd have to use one of these foam things to stamp on. But I'm just going to flip my Versamat over so that I don't have to worry about where I stamp.
Okay.
Which is quite nice, especially if you're using a sheet of paper with, so I'm using this sheet of paper tonight just to, so I don't, when I go off the card base, it'll go on the paper and not my Versamat. So there's my card base. And I'm going to start with, I'm going to use the 3x3 block. And I'm going to start with the Budding Friendship flower. So this is the big flower, and I'm going to start by using Lemonade. So, and you can do this with various other stamps, but since this is such a big stamp and it doesn't have to be like in a perfect line like wording does, I'm going to just stick it on there. Usually I lay it on the paper and then I flip it on top. And don't forget to prep your stamp for stamping by rubbing it on your hand. So I'm going to be using Lemonade. So this is Lemonade, nice yellow. You could also use Canary, which is a pretty yellow as well. So I'm just going to stamp it, push it on my stamp pad. And then I'm just going to randomly stamp. And if you don't want it as bright as that yellow, just stamp it again. And I'll give it a faint yellow, so you can see a very, very faint yellow. And I'll do the same with the Gold Rush in the middle there for that one. I don't know if you can see that one very well.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can see it.
Good. Yeah. So I'm going to do one more little corner down here. Okay, so there's that. And then I have my chamois. It's very well loved. But I'm just going to wipe my stamp off and I'm going to replace it with the insert. So this is the center, and if you wanted to, you could even go over these with the lined ones, which is the very last step, which is this one here. If you want to do the lined, then you can do that, but I think I'm going to leave that out for tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to Gold Rush. Done with Lemonade. Here's Gold Rush. So it's a little bit goldy look to it, hence the name. Pretty color though. Great for these stamps. And since I already stamped this one without re-inking, I'm going to go ahead and do that so I don't forget. And that's a really cool technique that's highlighted in the timber card making workshop on card number 4.
I like that color. I like the color combination.
Yes.
I do too. Yeah, me too.
Makes it look very summery, I think.
Mhm.
Very festive for this time of year.
It pops it out with the contrast of the two colors.
It does. And these two are, I think they're perfect together for the flowers, like you said. So I'm going to go ahead and do the leaf. And I'm going to start with evergreen first. And again, rub it on your skin so that it pops it. So here's evergreen. And I'm just going to randomly do this. Like there's no rhyme or reason to this at all. So you could put as many leaves or as few leaves as you want. I'm going to probably do one in evergreen and one. So I noticed that when you look at my paper, I noticed that I have some ink around my edges and I don't really want to do that. So I'm just going to wipe my edges, that's one really nice thing about these acrylic blocks is that you can see those edges being inked. I'm going to go ahead and stamp one more time with evergreen there. So, okay, so I'm going to keep the same leaf on. There is a bigger leaf, but I think it's going to overpower. So here's my bigger leaf. I think it's going to overpower everything if I use that one. So I'm going to continue to use the little leaf. I'm going to go with our color of the year, which is julep. If you don't have julep yet, you may want to order it before September. It's going bye-bye. We're going to get another color of the year, and julep is in a lot of our stuff. And so like glitter paper, albums, that kind of stuff, you want to make sure that you get julep before it goes away. So again, you can stamp off the paper. Maybe I'll do double leaf here. And let's do. You guys hearing an echo?
No.
Yep. I did.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay.
Must be because I have an Android.
Yeah, it must be because my apples are working pretty good.
Those silly androids, huh? Us silly android people.
Yeah.
And the last color I'm going to mix in. So on my scrap paper, you can see this little red butterfly. That one is ruby. So I was playing around with colors. This is this is sangria here. And this one, this half butterfly up here is that's glacier. So I was just trying to see which one I would like. And I noticed I got a little bit of a smudge here. So I'm going to put a butterfly right there. Cover up my little boo-boo. So, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to switch my stamp to my other stamp collection, which is the Always Be Your Own Kind of Wonderful. And I'm going to use the little butterfly out of that, not the big one. So the big one is this one here. And again, rub it against your skin quickly. Doesn't need to be much. This is a little guy. And if you have a 1x1 block, this would be perfect for a 1x1.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
But I don't have a 1x1 and I don't really need one at this particular moment. Let's do one up here. It's going off the page. Maybe one more. And then you have a really pretty base. So now you can put a sentiment on it, or a touch, and then put the sentiment in the inside, and then send it on its way. So, I mean, that took me very little time to make.
Pretty.
So, and you can do it with various stamp pads, which is nice, or stamp pads and stamp sets. So, and you can see that these two are very different. So again, on this one, I used, this color is the New England Ivy. And on this one, I used Julep, which is this one. And then I used the Evergreen on both. So there's the little guys. Very easy. So do you guys have any questions?
No.
No, I like them. The second time you stamp, it's called second generational. That's what. Just
That's
FYI.
right. Second generational. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's second generational. So, yeah, it looks good. I like it.
So there's
I like
two
I
parts
like
that
this
I
one
can.
better.
You what?
Huh?
I like this one better than the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
I don't like the New England Ivy as much as the.
No, New England Ivy isn't. It's okay for certain projects.
It's good for timber.
You should try fern. Have you tried fern?
No, I don't have fern yet.
Oh, okay. Never
It's
mind.
on my list.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
A whole bunch. You know, being a new consultant, you only have so many things.
You mean you didn't go buy everything all at once? Huh, what's wrong with you?
Gosh, I wish I had that kind of money.
No kidding.